What's up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of Super Gamer Boys. I'm your host and captain, Garrett Morlang, and here in the studio with me is JJ Purdom.
Yes, last time I checked, that is exactly who I am. How's it going this morning, Garrett?
Good.
It's not morning.
Going good.
It's going so good. You know what? I'm feeling better. I'm not sick anymore. That's good.
Me
but
neither.
My mind is completely gone.
Yeah. No, I am feeling 100% better as well. I still have a little bit lingering. Like, once in a while, I have a little cough, like, but other than that, yeah. I'm happy to. But tell you what, after having 5 days off, because we had Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and then the weekend, Saturday, Sunday.
Yeah.
It's a little hard to go back to work. Tell you what, today I was like, "Ooh, man, do I really know what I'm doing here?"
Yeah, legitimately, it's extremely hard going back to work when you've had 5 days off. I had a hard time too. I was getting into the laying around and not doing nothing for a few days, and we got hit with that crazy sickness. I know you got a sickness too. I got what I can only describe as the neurovirus, which is what everybody was getting. And I had crazy pain and was just so uncomfortable. And it lasted for a full week, man. And I honest to God, I thought I was going to die. I thought there was some major stuff wrong with me on the inside. I'm like, I'm not used to this. My wife was like, "You're being a hypochondriac." I'm like, "I'm pretty sure I'm dying right now." But thankfully it worked out and I didn't die. I'm okay. I did have a doctor's appointment that I was going to go try to find out, because once you're sick and you tell everybody, like, "I think I might be dying," everybody just goes, "Have you called the doctor yet? Are you going to the doctor?" Apparently you're mom. Apparently your mom. Yeah. But they always ask if you're going to the doctor. And so I said, yes, I made a doctor's appointment on Friday. And I had the doctor's appointment. And the day before I was to go, I realized that my insurance was terminated and I don't have insurance. Oh, so the cost of going to the doctor without insurance is extremely expensive. And with it being Christmas, I had to make a very tough decision. Jeez. And I'm probably going to get hate mail, but I decided at the thought of potentially dying with whatever was going on in the center of my gut, legitimately in crazy pain, and I decided I'm just going to wait this thing out and see if I die because I cannot afford to go to the doctor. The kids needed Christmas. If I die, it's whatever.
You need to re-up your insurance, dude.
Yeah, I'm going to have to get on that.
Isn't that a thing where, like, you have to have it? I feel like a few years ago they passed a law where you have to have it, or else they, like, fine you big time in your taxes.
That's the way that it was, and I believe the law was changed to where they now have made it to where you're okay.
Well, in that case, why the heck?
Gosh, I hope.
Well, in that case, why do I have insurance? I need to get
Yeah, you don't really need it.
Our insurances went up, like, let's see, the prices went up about 8 or 9 times the amount it was before.
Oh my gosh.
Like, we had a great rate through Covered California, thanks Obamacare, it's fantastic. And then all of a sudden they're like, "Oh, you made, like, I don't know, we got a little bit of a raise last year and it was like just enough to bump me up in the next bracket." Like, "Oh, now we're going to charge you this." And I'm like, 9 times more than you were charging me before? Like, I could understand, like, "Oh, we're going to charge you an extra, like, $30 or $40 a month for insurance." Like, "No, we're going to charge you a few $100s more." I'm like, "Whoa, my
Yeah, you see how we get over that, California? We just keep having children. That's what we do. You're going to keep taxing us? We just keep popping out puppies constantly. That's what I'm working on more. I've already had the vasectomy, so it's going to be kind of hard. But we're working on it. Yeah.
Adoption is a thing. You can always adopt.
That's true. Yeah. That's true.
There you go. Man, it's been the holidays, man. I tell you what, I came in here today and I was like, I don't know if I remember how to podcast anymore. I didn't know how to work this morning at work. I don't remember how to podcast.
Garrett, I hate to break it to you, but you do not know how to podcast anyway.
Well,
it's not like something that...
Gee, thanks. I mean, it was just a week ago. We did that little 15-minute demo, like, "Hey, what's up? We're barely hanging
We're
in
both
there.
dying.
We're both dying." That was the last you guys heard from us. But, it was, like, weird to, like, it feels like it's been longer than a week since we podcasted last. So.
Well, we've packed a lot of living into the last week, Garrett. I mean, there was a whole lot of pie that happened at my house. I don't know about your house, but my house,
no pie.
There was a whole lot of pie.
Trudy's family is way too healthy, so no pie.
Are they not Americans? I mean,
barely.
I thought she was born here.
No, they're definitely born in.
Okay.
Her family is very much American, but definitely grew up overseas. So
really?
It's one of those things where, like, I've talked about it a couple episodes ago when we talked some Christmas traditions, but it's like, there's just things that they don't do that every other American family does, like pie.
They sound fun. It sounded like a lot of fun.
No, we had a ton of fun. Tell you what, my son had a real hard time this morning when I left for work because I've been home every morning. Like I wake him up and I play with him right away. Like as soon as he wakes up, he runs out and we just play until he takes a nap at like 1 o'clock in the afternoon. So I've just been playing with my son every day.
Dude, your son's kind of a bum, dude.
And
He's
then,
like laying around at 1 o'clock in the afternoon taking a nap.
Yeah.
I think dude needs to get a job.
Two years old, okay?
I had a job by the time I was 2. I had 2 jobs.
But then I was leaving this morning. He was just kind of like, you could tell he was like so confused. Like, wait a second, like Dad's been here every day. Like, where are you going? So
yeah, I had a little bit of the same thing where Lee asked me last night, "Hey, Dad, you gonna stay home tomorrow?" I said, No, son, I got to go back to work tomorrow. And he's like, man, it's been so great having you here. So, dude, that feels so good. I think he was trying to get more Christmas presents, but it's like, you already got them. You know, like, I'm sure.
I was at a customer's house today, and they had their grandson there with them. And as I'm like leaving, I'm like, have a good day, have a happy new year, all this stuff. And then the little grandson is just like, shouldn't you be on Christmas break right now? I'm on Christmas break from school. Like, don't you have Christmas break? I'm like, and his dad was in the room and his grandmother, and they both chuckled. And I was like,
and at that point, Garrett super kicked that kid right in the jaw. He just kicked him right in the face.
I was like,
said, you don't talk to me like that, boy. And backslapped him, you know?
This is like, boy, I wish that were true. And I just walked out.
And then he looked up at his dad and he's like, that's a really sad little man, Daddy. Yes, it is, son. Yes, it is.
Oh, man. Well, let's get into the rest of the show here. It's going to be a little bit different because there's no news.
No, there's nothing. But you know what's not different? You know what's not different, Garrett?
That's not different.
Supporting us on Patreon.
Yeah,
it's the same as it always is. It's still awesome.
We still have a Patreon, and 'tis the season to be jolly and give gifts and support your favorite podcasters.
Yes.
So.
Or even like your 4th favorite podcast.
This episode comes out on New Year's Day. It could be your New Year's resolution to make, your favorite podcast, make their year even better by just a simple monthly support. You can go over to patreon.com/supergamerboys. Leave us just $1 or $2 if you want, or you can go up to like $15, $20, whatever you want to do.
Listen, and don't even just keep it down to bucks, okay? It doesn't have to necessarily be United States dollars. It doesn't have to be that currency. We'll take rupees, euros, francs, any other kind of dinero. We will take. I would love to get some euros.
Technically, I think Patreon would accept that. I don't know for sure, but
there you
I
go.
imagine that would work. So
people from other countries, which we know there's quite a bit of people that listen to our show from other countries, because other countries have video games too, as far as I know.
We know definitely the Welsh do. I mean,
that's true.
That's the one country we know for sure.
That is true.
Also, I forgot to tell you, I figured out, hang on, let's finish our Patreon thing. Go support us on Patreon. Because you can get cool perks, and we need the support to keep bringing you this awesome show. Next, on to supergamerboys.com/store. Yeah, /store.
Yeah, I was going to say that.
I figured out who bought those socks.
Oh, sweet. Somebody did buy a pair of the socks.
Well, I saw on the website that someone bought a pair of socks. I'm like, who in the world bought socks? And I even did a shout out like, send us a picture of the socks. I want to see them. I want to see them.
Feet with the socks
so
on?
Someone, it ended up being, it was my, it was Grammy, one of our, by the way, we have Patreon sponsors, Bill Bird and Julie Bates, a.k.a. Grammy. So Grammy bought the socks for my cousin, Star Andrews, who does our logo.
That's awesome.
Our album artwork. So keep it in the family.
Right. Whoa. I don't know if you can technically say that.
Why not?
Because it sounds dirty.
Keeping it in the family?
Well, anytime you say that, it's automatically a reference to. No, you know what I mean.
I've never heard that one before, but okay.
So first of all, there's birds, right? And then sometimes you have bees.
Anyways, if you want to get cool socks, go over to supergamerboys.com/store. You can get the sweet mug. We also have cool t-shirts. I got some money for that's the best Christmas gift. This is some sweet cash. I might buy a couple of our t-shirts so I can start wearing them on the podcast here.
Repping our own brand.
Why not? I mean, no one else is doing it. Might as well.
Well, there is one sweet pair of socks that is being worn by Star, and I know she's probably wearing them right now. So, I mean, without fail, right?
I hope so. Yeah, we are also part of the HP Video Game Podcast Network. Shout out to you guys. You're all awesome. If you want to know what other shows are on that network, you can go to Apple Podcasts and search for HP Video Game Podcast Network, or do a search for them on Twitter. And, they retweet a lot of the new episodes that people post on Twitter there as well. Yeah,
there's a giant amount of really great video game podcasts that you can end up listening to that are all in a similar vein to what we do. I love listening to the life and times of video games. It's one of my favorite podcasts, and we're happy to be able to share the network with so many great podcasts like the HP podcast and some of the other ones.
Yeah, I don't know if any of them know who we are.
Probably not.
I feel like I never hear from them, but I mean, we love their stuff, so that's all that matters.
Yeah, that's what counts.
That's what counts there. Sorry, I was trying to bring up a cool picture of these dang socks, but it's fighting me. It's fighting me every step of the way.
Why do you have a picture of my feet on your... That's weird.
Don't ask questions.
Okay. That's okay.
So, what do you say we get into what you've been playing?
Okay, that's awesome. So the format is changed up a little bit by not having any news whatsoever.
Yeah,
we by doing stuff news. A little different.
So we're just winging it. We're gonna do. I guess we started talking about it a little bit earlier. We're gonna do what you're playing. Mm-hmm. We got some questions that we weren't able to answer last week, some holiday-themed questions. It's still the holidays. New Year's is still a holiday. Yeah.
There's still parties going on all over the place. Yeah.
And then we're going to do some most anticipated games of 2020. We have a couple lists that we're going to go through and talk about what we're excited for next year. And then next week, you can look forward to, I haven't told JJ this, but he has homework that he better do.
Oh, man. I'm really not good at homework.
Homework that he better do because he's failed me in the past.
What?
We're doing Game of the Year for 2019.
Okay.
Your Game of the Year. So it doesn't have to be like whatever games you played, preferably if it came out this year. Yeah. But if it's not a game that came out this year and it's a game you fell in love with this year, that works too. But yeah, figure out.
Sweet. I played a great amount of...
Don't talk about it.
I played a great amount of games and I'm excited about it. So that's cool. We'll look forward to that next week.
I'm thinking we'll do like a top 5 list. Yeah. So it'll be like our Game of the Year and then 4 shout outs.
Sweet. We'll look forward to that next week here on the show.
As long as JJ does his homework.
We can all hope. I wouldn't bet on it.
Here's our socks. Check those out.
Very cool. So we're looking at a photo right now of our sweet Super Gamer Boys socks.
They're actually not half bad.
They're pretty awesome.
I want to see him on some feet though. Doesn't have to be your feet, Star. Maybe he's throwing them on Dallas's feet.
You want to put them on like a mannequin's
feet? Throw them on the dog's feet? I don't know. I just want to see them on some.
That'd be good.
I want to see what they look like all worn in.
Oh, you got like a foot thing, don't you?
I know. That's why I said it doesn't have to be her feet. I don't want people to think that's a thing.
I'm picking up kind of a foot thing right now.
What have you been playing, JJ?
Yeah. Well, I've been playing a whole lot of Star Wars Fallen Order. That game is amazingly gorgeous. I've been playing it since I got it, and I've progressed. I've gotten to several different worlds, and I love that game so much, and it's gotten me really interested in all the Star Wars stuff. And of course, I've been watching The Mandalorian, so I'm fully...
it's the last episode came out Friday.
I'm not there yet.
It's so good. It's so good. I'm so excited for season 2.
Awesome.
Like, there's a few episodes where it got to the point where I'm like, okay, this is really kind of like the story was not tracking. Like, it wasn't sticking to the main story. It was like telling all these side stories. I'm like, just tell me what's happening with the main story. And then literally episode 7 and 8 are just like perfect. I'm like, okay, I'm ready for season 2 now. Anyways, you can keep going. I was just so stoked about Mandalorian. It's like,
I've been stoked about it.
They ended on a high note for me.
Yeah, I've been stoked about it. It's been an awesome show. But with Fallen Order, this game is so great. It's so beautiful. Some of the things you get to see in playing this game, the story is so much fun. I have it set on easy. So again, not the greatest gamer in the world. I'm an old guy. I'm used to things that are a little simpler, like Pong and whatnot.
Right.
So in playing this game on easy, you would think that I would be doing amazing. I just pretty much rage quit a couple days ago because I'm at a section on Kashyyyk, one of the planets.
Oh, the Wookiee planet.
Yes, and I cannot get to the roof for the life of me. And okay, look, I've tried. There's a door that I'm supposed to go through, a couple of different doors. I feel like those are the areas that I'm supposed to go through, and they're locked to me. And I feel like I've done everything I can do, and I can't get past And I just got super pissed and was like, I don't know if I can come back to this game. And I've tried to cheat by going on YouTube, and none of them, every time they go to the door is available for them to open. But I can't have it available for me because I haven't fixed the scomp link, which you have to fix on the previous planet that you're at. Unfortunately, I didn't fix it. Came to this planet, and now in order to go up, I need to have had that thing fixed from the planet before. So I feel like I'm kind of lost. I can't
go back to the other planet, right?
I can't leave the planet. I have to get to the roof to leave the planet. So that's why I feel like I'm like, I have to figure out a workaround to get around to this roof structure on this planet, on the Wookiee planet. So it's kind of hard to explain. I don't want to be a big old, spoiler killer. But
there was a lot of complaints about this game just being super buggy, and I actually heard of one person who
quite a bit.
I heard of one person who actually had to restart the whole game because he found like a great game-breaking section. Maybe you found the same section. It might be somewhere you need to restart the game or something.
That would really suck.
I mean, I don't know that for sure, but I was listening to, I think it was a Kind of Funny podcast. They did a review, and one guy, and Tim on there, he was just like, yeah, I got to one point in the game, and then like I was totally stuck. Like I couldn't move on no matter what I did, and he actually had to restart the whole game in order to do it. He didn't say what section it was, but what you're saying kind of sounds like maybe that's what happened to you.
Yeah, that might have happened to me. So that sounds really, because I feel, and I could be wrong.
Yeah.
But I feel.
I have a walkthrough here. Maybe after this show we'll.
Yeah, I might have to cheat a little bit. Yeah. If not, I'm going to have to give you that game back and let you play it.
I want to try it. I still have not been able to try it, so I'm stoked.
Yeah. No, it's a really great game. I think I've got to that point where I'm not getting anywhere, and now I'm just more mad at it than anything, and I'm not having fun with it, because I'm like, I can't go any further. And then the kids come in and they're like, "Hey, Dad," because they talk like little British kids. "Hey, Dad, can you brush my teeth?" And I'm like, "Get out of here, guys, play a video game." And I don't want to be a jerk, But what about you? What have you been playing?
I have been playing a little bit of everything. A little bit of this, a little bit of that, No, I've been playing Death Stranding.
I knew that was going to be on the list.
I've been playing Death Stranding. I've just been like mainlining it. For the longest time, I'm about 40 hours in, I think. I've just been super like focused on doing all the side quests, upgrading everything I can, getting all the upgraded weapons and suit armor pieces and whatever, all the different boots. But then finally I'm like, you know what? I feel like I'm upgraded enough. I'm just going to move on with the story. And I've gone through a couple chapters now. I think I'm in chapter 7 or 8. Whatever chapter it is, it's about Cliff. It's a chapter about Cliff, Mads Mikkelsen's character. Mm-hmm. So I had run into him earlier in the game, but now this chapter is actually like about him and named after him. So I'm interested to find out more about this guy. Like, who is he? What's going on? So that's really cool. It's just such a fun game. And it's such like a stark contrast to this other game I started playing. So for Christmas, my housemate, we have a housemate because we can't afford to live in California. So we share rent on a 3-bedroom house. For Christmas though, she got me a $25 like PlayStation gift card for the PlayStation Store. I'm like, oh, perfect. I was really hoping to be able to pick up Sekiro: Shadows Die Twice, which won Game of the Year at the Video Game Awards, and it was on sale for like, I think it was like $30 or something. So I paid $5 for this brand new game, basically. I picked that up, and dude, it is like night and day how different they are. Like Death Stranding is so chill, so relaxing, so much fun. And then
Sekiro, not so much.
Sekiro is like literally like beating your head against a brick wall. Like, it's made by From Software, which is the same people who made the Dark Souls games and made Bloodborne. So I know there's a big group of people out there who love those games, are good at those games. Like if they were, I'm sure the comments are just going to be full of people saying like, "Oh, get good," like you suck, like you're a fake gamer or something like that. But dude, it's so stinging hard. I have literally played for probably like 5 hours now. And I have not progressed past, there's like a mini boss I ran into like 20 or 30 minutes in. and I've been stuck on that same boss for like, so really out of the 5 hours I've played, I've only played for like 30 minutes. And then the rest of that 4.5 hours has been just me dying to the same boss over and over and over and over and over and over, to the point where there's been a couple times where I'm like so ready to snap a controller over my knee or like, throw it out the window. Like, it's infuriating.
I love hearing that you have a hard time with a video game, because I always feel like I'm the idiot who doesn't play video games well, and that you're the guy who perfects all video games and like never has a problem, like gets through every level. But I love hearing it when you're honest with me and you're like, no. I cheated online and I looked up a walkthrough. I love hearing that, because sometimes I feel like you're a younger person who is a lot, nimbler with your fingers and whatnot, and you're quicker with your mind thing or whatever.
This game's impossible. I don't know. Like, I don't know how people. If anything, it actually kind of solidified my original opinion of it. Like, originally when Game Awards was happening, I was like, there's no way that game's really going to win Game of the Year, right? Like, there's Death Stranding. There's, what was the other one on there? Resident Evil 2. Yeah. I feel like there's another big one that,
but
was going to win. And then I was like, Sekiro was like farther down the list.
Yeah.
And now playing it now, it's like, how did anyone beat the game to even like nominate it? Like, if any of those people say they beat it, they're a liar. Like, there's no way. Like,
nobody.
I don't believe anyone's beat this game yet, because it's so stinging hard.
So, is there any redeeming qualities of it that anything that you look at, considering that you played Death Stranding and you played Resident Evil 2, is there anything that you're looking at in Sekiro in the little bit that you played that you're going, okay, I can see why it got this award? Maybe I don't agree with it in my own personal opinion, but I can see how some would choose this as being that highly valued.
Yeah, I guess so. Like, obviously, like visually, it's beautiful. Like, it's amazing. Like, just the graphics look great. The gameplay is super great and super smooth. Like, using a sword in this game is like feels so good.
Is it set up all like Japanese RPG art style, or I don't recall what it looks like.
There's
been so many games that are similar like this that have come out lately that I just don't. It doesn't stand out in my memory for some reason.
As far as like the genre,
this is Hellblade 1 that you're talking about, or is this 2, the one that just came out? Which one did you picked up the original?
What do you? I'm talking about Sekiro.
Right, you played the original.
There's only one.
I thought Sekiro Hellblade 2 was coming out.
You're mixing up lots of games. Sekiro Shadows Die Twice is a game made by From Software that came out this year. Hellblade: Senua's Sacrifice.
Okay. I got them confused. They all look alike.
Is a game that came out 2 years ago.
It's all the same.
It's not the same. Definitely not the same. Sekiro is like a samurai game.
I am so sorry. I don't know why I got this confused.
Senua's Hellblade is like I think it takes place in it's like some Norse mythology type thing, like ancient, like kind of Norse, like.
Oh, so it's God of War.
Vikings and stuff. Sort of.
Yeah. Okay.
No, so this is like an action adventure, a little bit of RPG elements, but takes place during the Sengoku period in Japan, and follows a shinobi known as Wolf as he attempts to take revenge on a samurai clan who attacked him and kidnapped his lord. So yeah, the aesthetic is like really cool. The gameplay is cool. The graphics are cool. Super smooth. Super like it's fun. The combat is fun. Until you come across anything challenging, then it's like, this sucks. Like, and I think the worst part about it is like why I get so frustrated is because it is my fault. Like, that's the thing. The game is so well made. It's never the game's fault. It's like, oh, I should have hit, the block button there and I didn't. And he just like sliced me in half with a samurai sword or whatever. Or, oh, he kicked and then grabbed me. I should have dodged and rolled, but instead I, blocked with a sword and that doesn't do anything. Like, he just goes right through there and grabs you. And so you have to be very quick on your feet and like all super reactionary and hit the right button at the right millisecond or else you're done. And
no, so I would not do good at this game in any way.
No. Yeah, no, you should never play
I'll
this
never
game.
touch it. Don't worry.
But yeah, so to go from that though, like it's been driving me crazy. I'll play it in like little stints. I'll like play for a bit, get right on the edge of like chucking a controller through the window, and I'm like, okay, deep breath. I'll put on some Death Stranding. Then I go hike through the snowy mountains in Death Stranding. I'm like, this feels good. Like it's like nice gentle snow.
Yeah,
And just
you're
like
calm.
taking my time going over the mountain. Like some beautiful music comes on. I'm like, you know what, Kojima, you know me. You know me too well.
So did you get an opportunity after playing all the video games, having some time at home and having like 5 days to kick back? Because I assumed it was just 5 days of vacation, kicking it with your feet up. Did you? Which that's not how it works at all with families.
Not when you have a kid.
No. Did you end up getting any time to watch any new shows? Like giving it, because I got some time to get into some new stuff, and like I got some stuff I'd like to share with you that a lot of fun. Netflix just came out with a new original show that I got a chance to get into.
Did you watch The Witcher?
I have not seen The Witcher,
and that's what you're gonna say, because I want to watch it so bad.
And actually, just earlier today, I read an article that The Witcher is outperforming The Mandalorian right now with people wanting to watch that show. That's the show everybody's talking about right now.
I feel like that's unfair because of the way those shows are released. Netflix does the full dump the whole thing, so everyone's obviously super hyped, and it's based off of a book, which also has a video game attached to it. So like that's
a very hard video game.
Right? So that's it's not too bad. So that's a news article we could have talked about today. But the Witcher game is like doing better than it ever has. Like people are able to see stats on how many people are playing concurrently, and it's like it's way outperforming better than it ever did even back in its heyday, because it won like Game of the Year back when it first came out.
Oh, of course, this would be due to the fact that the
TV show came out and everyone's like losing their minds. But
sweet.
Yeah, and then with like Mandalorian being week by week, I think that like so that kind of stat saying The Witcher is doing better.
Our society
that's an unfair comparison, I would say.
Our society has changed in how they consume content, and like the binging aspect of it is a big deal. So going back to this type of format, the way that Disney Plus has, it is a little bit different. It's going back to that, traditional TV style of, hey, you're going to have to wait. I personally like the wait.
Yeah, me too. I feel like it's helped the Mandalorian. For me, it's like, oh, this is great.
Well, you know what ends up happening for me personally? Shows like Stranger Things, we're just going to use that as an example, get dropped like all this, right? And I get super hyped about it. And this is my own personal journey with it, but I'll get all really into it. Like, I can't wait to watch it. And I'll watch 2 episodes, and then something will catch my fancy, or I'll get, sidetracked, and several days will go by. And then pretty soon it's like 6 months ago that came out, and I only watched 4 episodes. And it was good, and I was into it, and it's great. And if I sat down and really watched it, but I have to feel in the mood. And I think that sometimes with the traditional setup of TV, it's like candy. If you have candy available to you all the time, the luster is worn off. The specialness of it is worn off. Well, unless it's Reese's Peanut Butter Cups. Of course, that stuff's always special.
Or Reese's Pieces.
Yeah. It's just un-American, dude. It's just Reese's Peanut Butter Cups. You a candy shell. It's chocolate with peanut butter in it. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, it's Reese's Pieces. That's what that is.
Okay, we're going to talk about that off the air because I don't want to chastise you. Yeah, so the way that this was with this new show, it's called Raising Dion, and it is phenomenal. It's based on a comic book series, and it's a little boy who is like 6 or 7 years old, and he has powers, and he got them from his dad, and his dad has died, but in birthing him, he has gotten powers that his dad has, and it is incredible.
His dad gave birth to him?
No, okay, so again, there's these things called birds, and then there's these things called bees, and so what happens is when the egg zygote meets the sperm, it sometimes the baby comes.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. No, so basically this guy ends up passing on through his genetics these powers. And so
this is the way you worded it before. You said is passed on. And then,
the birthing.
The birthing. I was just like, I know
that's
what you didn't mean, but I like to.
No. That's totally okay. And I'm going to totally get you back for that later. That's totally fine.
Probably tenfold.
No, so Raising Dion is a wonderful show. I'm like 4 episodes in right now, and I love it. It's really different. I didn't realize that it was a comic book series, but apparently it's actually a pretty popular comic book series. So check that out on Netflix if you get a chance. They just dropped the first season, and it's really great.
Cool. I've been watching Mandalorian, obviously. Everyone needs to go watch that. The way that ended, awesome. Like, I am so stoked for season 2. And it ends with something where a lot of people, if you're not super into the Star Wars lore, like not even just the movies, because it has something in that final episode that got me so hyped. And it was funny, like some of my friends and then even, like Trudy was just like, I don't, what is that? I'm like, because it's not from the movies. It's from, it's actually from the cartoon, the Clone Wars. And,
which is part of the lore.
Which is part of the lore.
Right,
Rebels. Right. I think it's in some comic books. Like, it's one of those things where it's like, if you don't go deep into like comic books and stuff like that, you're not going to understand a couple of the references, which is cool. Like, it's cool for, just for this mainstream TV show to address these kind of side things. With different characters that they bring in and different, scenarios and stories and even things they mention. Like, a character mentioned something that happened in one of these comic books, where I'm like, oh, cool. Like, these are legit. Anyways, so I'm super excited for season 2. But then I also got to see, actually, it was a couple weekends ago. It's funny. I was like telling JJ, I'm like, oh, I forgot to tell you that like 2 weeks ago, I saw Rise of Skywalker in theaters.
So you kind of neglected to tell me.
I mean, I haven't seen you much. You were dead, and then we did the podcast, and we both went home and died again. We were just dead. But I saw opening weekend with Trudy, and that movie is a movie.
Okay.
So I kind of alluded to it a little bit earlier when I was talking to you off air, but in my personal opinion, episodes 7, 8, and 9 have not had a very complete, cohesive story and like character arcs or anything like that. Like, it's very kind of like all over the place. Not to say they're bad. I mean, I didn't enjoy episode 8. I thought that was bad, but they've all been fun movies. Like, they're fun to watch. And I guess I was really excited going into this. I'm like, okay, they're bringing J.J. Abrams back, and I really hope they can kind of like, I don't know. I feel like there was a possibility that they were going to figure out some clever way to like tie a nice bow on there and be like, here we go. There's 9 movies and we're done. Like, this is it. And they do finish it. Like, I'm not going to say, like, of course, Disney has already said this is the last one. We're done. They do finish it and they wrap it up, but it just wasn't what I was expecting. I was like, okay, that wasn't what I was expecting. It wasn't what I was feeling or wanting. Like, there was so many other ways it could have gone about it that would have been better. So story-wise and even character-wise, it's just like, okay, they took some leaps there. Okay, well, yeah, I don't know. Like, I wasn't a fan of that. But I tell you what, the second I left that theater, I turned to Trudy. I'm like, I want to go see it again. Which is the most bizarre thing. Like, that you can we can go watch this movie and be like, movie, like,
wasn't that great?
The story sucked, but I want to watch it again because they're so stinking fun. They're so fun. And that's what, this movie kind of suffers from, is there's a lot of J.J. Abrams trying to retcon episode 8, which is directed by Rian Johnson. This because there's so much hatred for episode 8. And, well, J.J. did episode 7, Rian Johnson did 8, and then it was supposed to be a third director for 9, but because of how badly episode 8 did, they were like, no, he's going to bring JJ back and to fix this. So basically, this movie is kind of like 2 movies smashed into one. So it's fast paced. It's just like boom, 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 action, 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 story, action, or, boom, boom, boom. It never stops. Like, I had to pee so bad, and there's not 1 second to go pee because you're just getting stuff over like quick, quick, quick. And yeah, it's such a stinking fun movie because of that. Because it's just like everything you've ever dreamed of or imagined, like, oh, this would be cool to see in Star Wars. It's like, oh, okay, they're doing this, they're doing that. Like, oh, that's really neat to see. Oh, I didn't think I would ever hear or see that. And it happens. But overall, like, yeah, I was bummed with the way like the 7, 8, and 9, like the story was handled. But I can't, like, I'm not gonna lie, like, they're still freaking fun movies. And like, we watched episode 7 a couple weeks ago before we saw 9, because we wanted to like kind of catch up on the story and everything. After watching 7, I'm like, this is still a fun movie, and even 8, like it's still an all right movie. And in this one, I'm like, I want to go I either want to go in theaters and see it again because it's an IMAX up at the Galaxy Theater. I'm like, I need to see it in IMAX. Or if I'm not able to do that, I'm stoked for it to come to Disney Plus because it's going to be one of those movies I watch all the time because it's so much freaking fun to watch.
So I'm going to play the nerd devil's advocate, okay? Because I'm new to the whole Star Wars thing. Obviously, I've gotten into Star Wars recently with the game and with the show, The Mandalorian. And I look forward to continue in the background watching the Star Wars movies. It's a chore, man, because some of them are not
1,
phenomenal.
2, and 3 are bad. Episode 1, 2, and 3.
And I'm on the original, or not the original, but I'm on the 1, 2, and 3 right now where we're trying to go through those ones. And it's a chore, man. It's like,
they're not great.
It's like biting through shoe leather. But
Anakin Skywalker and his hatred for sand. It's real. The struggle is real. My
thought is this. With these things being as popular as they've always been, with how much everybody loves them, and we're like on a major kick for this stuff right now with The Mandalorian and with all these movies on Disney Plus readily available, for us to watch anytime. Is it too much? Are they doing too much? There's been so much Star Wars lately, and it feels like we had to wait for, 20 years or 15 years for, 1, 2, and 3
Between
to come
6
out.
and 1, yeah.
And my personal opinion is like, I didn't hear a whole lot about Rise of the Skywalker right now. I just didn't hear a whole lot of talking about it. And I think it's maybe because we're just kind of like overwhelmed with Star Wars stuff. It's like that thing about, too much good candy, and eventually it's too much. Where are you at on that? I just feel like it's like maybe you need to kind of back off on the Star Wars movies for a couple of years. Back off for like 3 years and then hit us with 1. I get it. They have money in the franchise and they want to just use the TV. Use The Mandalorian right now and rides and stuff like that and your merchandise. But as far as movies, I think it's too much. And I think they need to... I'm not going to listen to some little redneck who does a podcast, a world famous podcast, but still. I just think it's maybe too much of a good thing.
Yeah, I don't know. I agree it is a lot, but I think, I don't know, in my opinion, I would have to say, though, I like the choices and the options. Yes, it's a lot, and for some people, like, I don't know. So for me, I love all of it. I want to consume all of it.
Mm-hmm.
But I also think it's cool that even for people who are a little... whether they're full-on fans, lesser fans, or even not fans of Star Wars at all, that just means like there's more options right now than ever for someone to find something they like, whether it's an animated series through Clone Wars or Rebels, or it's The Mandalorian, this like, space western, or you do like the movies, which is just like, adrenaline fueled, like, kind of like craziness, like, I don't know, not adrenaline fueled, but the newest one's pretty crazy. Like it's just like boom, 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 like this action, space drama and stuff like that. So in that sense, I think it's kind of neat so I see what you're saying. Like I definitely think it is a lot, but I also think it's cool that there's something for everyone now as well. Like whatever you're looking for. So I don't know. So
I bring it up because that I love pro wrestling. I'm a big pro wrestling fan. I've worked in the pro wrestling business doing announcing for a really long time, and I absolutely love it. So when I was growing up, you'd watch a couple of hours every week. You'd watch an hour of WWF, which is now WWE, and then you'd watch an hour of WCW, which is another wrestling company, and then you might catch an hour of another company on ESPN for an hour. So you might catch 2 or 3 hours a week, and you would search out to try to find these hours of wrestling. And now there's 3 hours on Monday night. There's 2 hours on Friday night in primetime on Fox. There's 2 hours on USA Live as well. And there's another company that has 1 hour a week. There's another company that has 1 hour a week. So there's just countless hours of this amazing stuff that I call pro wrestling on television, right? So it's something that I love tremendously, but I'm overwhelmed with all these different options and it's all great. The thing is that a lot of them what they do inside of the ring is so much better than what I grew up on. It's like phenomenal, but it's so much of a good thing that I'm like overwhelmed and I'm overstimulated and I can't really enjoy very much of it. I try to like watch it through YouTube because it's easily digestible watching
like the highlight reels and stuff.
And I hate doing that because I want the over-encompassing story, but I can't watch 3 hours. I don't have 3 hours to give on a Monday night.
Yeah.
Or even give that same 3 hours later. Plus, the whole thing is not going to, and I realize pieces of it are going to be entertaining to some, and some people pick and choose what they enjoy. I started watching a show recently, a new wrestling show that is a 1 hour program, and it's actually free on YouTube, and it's presented like 1980s style wrestling. And what I love about it is they don't come to the ring with music. So it's all the theatrics are broken down. This is simplified. There's no music as they come to the ring. There's a podium where they do interviews, and then there's a ring where they do wrestling. And it's so simple. And it's just like how it was when I was a kid. And I love it because it's easily digestible. And that's kind of where I'm looking at Star Wars and going, there's all of this stuff that is so great and so wonderful. And I just think maybe it's too much. As a wrestling fan, I realize that I am enjoying the broken down, simplified version of 1 hour of wrestling that I get to watch on free television on YouTube. And I absolutely love it. And it gives me everything I want. I'm getting that from that 1 hour program that I watch on YouTube once a week versus all the great, incredible action and high paid stars and wonderful stories and all this amazing hours and hours and hours of content. So I'm just wondering if those feelings that I have about wrestling, if that's stuff that Star Wars fans are feeling about, kind of like the Star Wars franchise.
Yeah, I don't know, but even with everything you just said, basically what that sounds like to me is what I said, where it's just there's just more content out there for more people to fall in love with. Like maybe some people are more interested in this programming than this program than this like you don't have to watch everything. Like you can just watch what you want to watch. And same thing with Star Wars. Like you don't have to watch everything. You can just watch The Mandalorian and have fun with it.
And you're right.
Watch.
And you're totally right because they do like with my things of the rest. They're all different.
And I think the only reason like you and me have a problem with it is because we are so deeply ingrained in those things and such like purist in that. Like you're so into wrestling that you feel like they've ruined it. Like there's too much of it. Blah blah blah. Like it should go back to the way it was. And I kind of feel that way a little bit with Star Wars. Like why are we getting so much? It's kind of too much. Yeah. But then you got to realize like it's just because it's different.
Yeah, and it's all about the dollar bills too. And I know that that's part of it is like like a lot of fans are saying like 3 hours on Monday night for WWE Raw is a lot and it's too much. They shouldn't have a third hour. 3 hours is just too much. And so this is from people who love it, and love chocolate cake, but saying too much chocolate cake. So the thing is that the company USA is paying them so much money for that third hour that it doesn't matter that the ratings are going down and the people aren't watching that third hour because ad revenue and everything else takes care of it. So they're just like, hey, if the money's there for it, we'll put out 80 hours. And there's again, it's content and content that is loved by a lot of people. Yeah. So you can pick and choose and that's totally cool. And I do pick and choose what I like and I just prefer like a simplified version of it. And I'd like to see Star Wars not be so oversaturated in the market.
Which I mean at this point they have the only new Star Wars thing that we know that's coming is there's going to be an Obi-Wan TV show with Ewan McGregor. But we don't know anything about any more movies like as far as I know. Originally there's the directors who did some of the, they did some of the Game of Thrones stuff, but I think they backed out. Like they just said, actually, we're too busy with other stuff, so they're backing out. So at this point, there's no new movies coming. We just know of the Obi-Wan TV show, which could come in the next year or two. We don't know. We have no idea on that yet. So, I mean, it is slowing down. Now that the big trilogy's over, like there isn't anything. Like we're done.
So maybe it'll be like Marvel, where they're like, we're going to take a break and then reset, right?
Possibly. That's what I imagine will happen. Like, it'll be a matter of time before we start getting amped up again with Star Wars stuff. But until then, like we're just kind of on a hiatus. So you got your wish. There you go.
Yeah.
Thanks,
You're
JJ.
welcome,
Thanks.
America and the rest of the world that has killed it for all of you.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it was based on a little podcaster's vision or view of how Star Wars should really be.
You want to jump into a couple questions here
Absolutely.
before we get to our anticipated 2020?
Definitely.
Okay, let's do a couple quick ones here. This one from Paul Purdom. These are kind of similar questions. I'm going to mix them together. So Paul Purdom and Eddie Martin kind of asked similar questions, but are you playing any Christmas-themed games? Or, and then Eddie asked, what's your favorite winter-themed level? So have you been playing any winter-themed games this holiday season? And also, what would be your favorite winter-themed levels?
I have not played any winter-themed games. I can't think of any of the games that I've been playing that have snow in it or anything like that.
For me, Death Stranding. I mean, I was just talking about, it's technically not a winter-themed game, but the section I'm in, I was telling JD before, I was like, it's kind of ironic. Like, Christmas season started, and all the missions I've been doing have been in all the mountains, like all with all the snow and everything. And during the season 2, is they did an update to the game where every time it starts snowing, you hear like sleigh bells in the background, like ching 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 ching. So it's like, it's just a Christmas game now.
The best winter-themed or snow-themed game I've ever played was Red Dead Redemption when they're up in the mountains in the snow.
Okay.
That is absolutely amazing. I don't know if you played that because
it's
the
first
like
one.
the first chapter.
Mm-hmm. Red Dead 2.
In Red Dead 2.
Okay,
yeah. And you're in the snow up in the mountains, and it's just phenomenal. You're getting cold, and you're trying to keep yourself warm and keep your health up and all that kind of stuff. That's a lot of fun.
Mm-hmm. What about winter theme levels? Anything pop out to you?
Probably my favorite winter-themed level. I'm a huge fan of the Super Mario Brothers games from the original NES. Super Mario Brothers 3 had a level Iceland, and that was World 6, and that is one of my favorite levels. This is the level where you're running, and then you're sliding with stuff. You got to kind of stop short, and it's maddening to be falling off of stuff, but I had a lot of fun memories actually with my little brother Paul Purdom, who just sent that question in, one of the 2 questions that were sent in, and we used to play like crazy. Of course, I always won, just so you know.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
I don't believe that for a second.
And I always made him play as Luigi. I had to always play as Mario.
I mean, is he taller than you?
He's taller and skinnier, and he's the younger brother.
That's fitting.
Fitting. Yeah. My son, actually, the reason I bring that up is because my son came to me recently and he said, "Hey, Dad, how come you never let Uncle Paul ever play Mario? He said you never let him play Mario." And I'm like, "Really? Your uncle's like spreading that nasty lie around?" Like, he literally tells my son, like, "Your dad never let me play Mario. I wanted to be Mario so bad. But I always was relegated to playing Luigi." And he's like, "Why did you always make him play Luigi, Dad? That's not fair." Like, sometimes life's not fair, son.
That's awesome. For me, I always love the winter theme levels from Crash Bandicoot.
Oh, okay.
Not just the original game. I think Crash 2 had a lot of winter theme levels, and I think Crash 3 also had some winter theme levels, but they were always a lot of fun with little polar bears. Like, there's some levels where you play as Coco, which is Crash's sister, I think. I never understood quite the relationship there. I think they're brother and sister. But she jumps on the polar bear, and then you have to ride the polar bear through the snow. And like, the polar bear doesn't stop. Like, it just goes. Like, all you have to do is like dodge stuff. You're just dodging obstacles left and right, and those are always fun. Or those are always probably some of my favorites. I just love the aesthetic and animations and that. Of course, Super Mario 64 on Nintendo 64 had a fun, I guess you could say, ice snow level. Let's get through a couple more of these real quick before we move on.
Yeah, I used to love to do the like getting in the penguin suit and then like running and like sliding on the ice. Mm-hmm. Yeah, in the Mario stuff. It's fun, man.
So good. Kajoma01 on Twitter asked, "How many times have you been the Grinch of Christmas and ruined it?" Just kidding. He says, "What is your favorite Christmas movie?"
I am the Grinch every year.
He says, "Mine is White Christmas with Bing Crosby and Danny Kaye."
Yeah.
So what is your favorite Christmas movie?
That is a great question, Kajoma, because I love Christmas movies. Christmas movies are amazing. some of the greatest movies of all time are Christmas films. Bill Murray in Scrooged. I love that movie. Of course, it's a take of a very, very famous A Christmas Carol. I love the original A Christmas Carol. That's a wonderful, wonderful movie. And if I was to say probably my favorite Christmas movie of all time, some people will say It's a Wonderful Life. Some people say Miracle on 34th Street. And those are great movies, truly great movies. Probably the greatest Christmas movie of all time? No, it's not Home Alone. Although it's pretty good.
Or Die Hard.
Die Hard is pretty dang good. Die Hard is just the greatest movie of all time, period. My favorite Christmas movie of all time...
Gremlins. ...is
not Gremlins. Is easily A Christmas Story. A Christmas Story is one of the best Christmas movies I've ever seen. I think that it's number one. It is tops.
That's one that my family, it was like our tradition every year is we watch Elf and watch A Christmas Story for Christmas every single year.
Elf is fantastic.
Previously, to being married, with my parents and my brother, we'd all, cuddle up on the couch and watch Elf and A Christmas Story.
So we always, as a family, as a tradition, we always watch a Christmas movie together as a family, cuddling on the couch under blankets with, treats and whatever. We did that this year too. And we always do it on Christmas Eve. Normally we watch Polar Express and we always make hot chocolate. And then of course, when they have the song and hot chocolate, and they're like, everybody's dancing around. We're dancing around like idiots.
I've never seen that movie. I don't know what you're talking about.
Have you really never seen the Polar Express?
Never seen it.
Wow. It's a lot of fun. You got to watch it, man. In fact, you ought to go buy it on Amazon right now and go watch that movie.
We'll see.
So this year, we actually watched Disney Plus has an original Christmas movie, Noelle, with Anna Kendrick. Wonderful movie. A lot of fun.
That was a good one.
She's great in everything she touches, dude. That woman is so amazingly talented. And that was a really fun, cute story. And it was great that we all got to watch it as a family and everybody enjoyed it. So
yeah, cool. Mine would probably be A Christmas Story is up there for me. Like I said, I was every single year we watched it. This is the first year we didn't watch it. And that's only because we watched the second best Christmas movie, which is National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation.
Oh, how could I forget? Movie's so amazing.
Fantastic movie. If you haven't seen that, go give that one a watch.
I got almost in a physical fight with a friend at work several years ago who told me that movie sucked, and I was pretty much well and determined to whip his butt.
So I just introduced Trudy to that for the first time this year. She's never seen it before. I was like, we'll see how this goes. Don't know if she's going to like it. She's going to laugh. Is she going to look at me and I want a divorce?
You're watching her out of the corner of your eye, make sure she's laughing at the right spots.
No joke. I was just okay, does she think this is funny? Okay, yeah, she's laughing. Okay.
You're like, all right, I'm going to keep her. She's okay.
Such a good movie. Another one, I haven't watched in a long time, but I remember as a kid loving it. And it's on Disney Plus, so I want to go back and watch it, is A Muppet Christmas Carol.
Oh, okay.
Because I just love anything Muppets.
Muppets are great.
Muppet Treasure Island, the Muppet Movie, Muppet Christmas Carol. They're all so stinking good. So I saw it. I was on Disney Plus. So I was like, I need to go watch that because I just loved. I don't know. They just have such a fun spin on the characters and on the songs and stuff, and it's always good.
We actually love the Muppets at my house, and so the Muppet movie that came out a few years ago, not Muppets Most Wanted, but the one with Jason Segel.
Okay.
There was a scene where he and one of the Muppets are brushing their teeth. Everything is great. Everything is grand. Got the whole wide world in the palm of my hand. And so we do this as a teeth brushing routine, my little girl and I, and we'll play, and we're sitting there brushing our teeth with the Muppet, and it makes it fun. I don't know. And plus Daddy's just a ham. So, just trying to make it fun and entertaining or whatever.
But, yeah, cool. Let's see. We have one more question from Yogurt Man on Twitter. What's your personal family Christmas tradition a lot of other people don't do?
Okay, Yogurt Man. So anytime I hear the name's Yogurt, I think of Spaceballs. Okay. I plain yogurt. Now, what was the question? Sorry, I got
a family Christmas tradition a lot of people don't do that your family does.
Well, there's a couple of things that my family does. We used to have we unfortunately as a family lost it, but we used to have an item as a family. There was this car light. Somebody got like a reverse light for a car. And it was some random car that one of my brothers owned at the time. And he like got rid of the car, but he had like this light that was like brand new, and it was like for the back window or something, and it was just a stupid light. And he decided to wrap it and give it as a gift. And he gave it to somebody as a gift for Christmas. And we're like, what the heck? For the car that you just got rid of like 6 months ago, like for some Fiat or something. And it was like random, totally random. And so it became the thing every year where somebody was going to get that light. Right. And
you just never know who.
You never knew who was going to get the light. You know, it was always like, and that memory of who's going to get the light, that was like our Christmas tradition every year. So every year somebody would get the light, and it would be I remember when I was 18. When I turned 18, I had never gotten the light before. It had always been all of my older siblings and my dad or whatever. I had never gotten it. When I was 18, it was one of the biggest honors of my life.
I'm a man.
Get that light. I felt like I was. Now, I wasn't in any way. 18 years old, I still was not mature enough. I wasn't ready for the mantle of this light. But I got the light, and it was like a huge deal for me. But that's what we do. Every year, somebody's going to get the light. So my brother Ray, my older brother, he was the guy who was really always pushing this family tradition. And eventually, I think he lost it. So we haven't had that tradition for several years because somebody lost it. So my brother Ray, he was 10 years older than me. He was my hero growing up. I have 6 brothers and 1 sister. And I was very close to my brother Ray. And so he passed away. Very funny. Very much like me. I pretty much tailored my personality after him. I'm just a lot better looking, a lot funnier, whatever. Yeah. And a lot shorter. Like he would always I'd say something. He'd go, stand up and say, oh yeah, you are standing up. It's, okay, never mind. He's just so funny, very quick-witted. And when he passed away, he was cremated. And his wife, after she was going to get remarried, she said, hey, I've got something for you. And so I come over and I'm like, hey, and she goes, you need to take your brother. I put the box of my brother's ashes on the table and said, he's haunting the house and he's got to move on. And I'm like, I don't want him to haunt my house. So I literally had to take this box with my brother's ashes inside of it because I'm not going to just leave my brother there, but I'm like, this is weird. So I just walked out of the house with my brother in a felt bag in this, cardboard box. And no, it wasn't like, from the store folded over or whatever. And I brought it home and I put it, I said, honey, guess who's moving in? And my wife did not think I was funny in any way whatsoever. Yeah. And then she's like, I don't want him to haunt our house. And if something goes missing, I'll say Uncle Ray probably took it, and the kids all laugh. But Janet just scowls at me like, shut up, don't say that. Well, my brother Paul, I'm going to give all credit to Paul because I am not devious enough for this. But my brother Paul made a suggestion to me, and I loved this suggestion. I've decided not to do it. We decided not to do it at the last minute. We were going to do it, but feelings would have gotten hurt. My family's funny. Again, everybody has humor. Because Ray had lost the light, my brother Raymond, Paul had made the suggestion that Ray needed to become the light. So he said, wouldn't it be hilarious if every year somebody got Ray? So who's going to get Ray this year? And box him up and it's Ray, and it would keep my brother's memory alive. And you know what? My family loved it. Everybody that we told that to loved it.
So is that going to start next year?
No, because I planned on my oldest brother is black belt in karate, and he's the toughest of all of us, and he's like the Chuck Norris of our family, right? So I decided, since I'm the one who has possession of my brother Ray, I'm going to give the gift of Ray to my brother Greg and see what happens. And my brother Lance said, if you do, he will kill you because he's this is going to sound so bad, but he said he's collecting bodies right now because he has my other brother, Chuck, that passed away. He has his cremated box, right? He has his father-in-law, and he also has his best buddy that passed away a few years ago. So he already has three dead bodies in his house in boxes. So my brother said, JJ, that is the funniest thing I've ever heard. And yes, it would be hilarious, but don't do that to him. Don't do that to him because that's just not right. Okay, so we didn't do it. But yeah, that's how twisted my family is. So that almost happened this Christmas.
I think it should still happen. There's always next year.
Maybe.
Next year.
Well, I mentioned it to my brother, and he said I would have killed you. And he would have. like legitimate.
Jeez.
Yeah, he's a big guy, my brother. He's maybe just under 6 foot tall, 280, 290 pounds, big, very big. And he actually did a MMA fighting with Nate and Nick Diaz. And so he did that stuff with him, and he's a lot bigger than them. And so we started talking. Like, I was like, so you really worked out with them? And he's like, they were throwing me around like nothing and like just wrapping him up like nothing. And my brother is like the toughest person I know. And I'm like, I just don't understand it. But they're that good. They were just like folding him up like nothing, you know? And they're like 170 pounds or whatever, you know?
Dang. That's crazy. For me, personal family tradition, I don't know. Like, I kind of talked about it last week, but my family doesn't really have much traditions right now. Like my family, not like my grown up family, but my
but wait, you told me that you tried.
I tried.
That you attempted to implement, the Moorlang tradition that you started.
So like last week, I talked.
Shot down.
Last week I talked about how there's a tradition with me growing up that we did with the whole gift Christmas Eve and maybe open a stocking or whatever it was. And I was like, okay, like I even mentioned last week, I'm like, I'm going to try to implement that in my family. Like, that sounds awesome. I think it's going to be great. Christmas Eve comes around and I was like, okay, we're going to open a gift? Like, asking my wife, she's like, no, we're not going to open gifts. Like, I want you to have something to open on Christmas Day and it'll just be awkward because like our housemate and stuff, like we don't have anything for her and we don't want her to feel like she has to get something for us. And this is like, she's like, no, we're not going to do that. I'm like, oh, okay. Like I told everyone in the entire world that I was going to be doing this tonight, and now
you made me a liar.
You're making me a liar right now. She's like, sorry, not doing it. I'm like, okay, cool. So
you could always do stockings next year. You could just stockings with a little bit of like candy in it and a little bit of like trinkets or whatever.
But that's all me and my wife do for each other is stockings. Like we don't really do gifts. Like we set like a price limit and then like whatever fits in that stocking. So
$400 a piece. What they do? He's rich.
Yeah, I wish. No, it's like $15-$20. So I mean, Christmas is still a blast this year, but it was one of those things where like,
that's why we need the Patreon support.
I'm going to start this awesome tradition, and then she's just like, nope. I'm like, okay. So I don't have an answer for your question because I have no tradition apparently. I'm just, dust, just a leaf floating in the breeze, just going wherever the wind takes me.
Again, that's a great question because now when you recognize that you don't have any traditions, those are the things that you can create. Whether it's next year doing the night before, whether it's, hey, you know what, we go to candlelight Christmas service every Christmas Eve, which we do as a family. I mean, maybe things like that are like, hey, this is what we do, or we maybe go Christmas caroling at the old folks home. As a family or whatever. I mean, there's
kicked out of there real quick.
Oh, real quick. I'm just saying I have heard you warble.
Not a good singer.
It's not amazing.
What do you say we get into what we're looking forward to in 2020 here? It's
absolutely
getting that time. I don't want to run out of time, so let's just go through a couple lists. Let's just do it back and forth. Like you name something.
I even have a list of things, and I'm prepared with papers for the.
Impressive.
Yes. There's nothing on these papers, by the way.
Yeah, there's just blank pages. Let's just go back and forth. Just with whatever off the top of your noggin you're excited for.
There are so many games that are coming out. There are so many movies and films that are coming out, TV shows that are coming out this year. Some of the games that I'm super excited about getting to, obviously, Last of Us 2.
Yeah.
We're looking at a May release as of right now, unless something else changes.
Yeah, hopefully not.
Hopefully
Man,
not. They
if
keep
something
pushing it
happens,
back.
that'd
But
be so sad.
that for me is the game that I'm looking forward to the most. And there's a whole lot of other games that are on the horizon and I'm excited about, but Last of Us 2 is the game for me that 2020 that I'm looking forward to.
I think one of the biggest ones for me is, well, this is kind of, I don't know. There was a game that I was super excited for. That was probably my most anticipated. But then Resident Evil 3 getting announced, coming out in April, I think that's probably one of my top ones for next year, honestly. I mean, Last of Us Part 2 for sure is like
absolutely
way up there. But like Resident Evil 3 Nemesis remake, like that's going to be awesome. I can't wait. It comes out April 3rd. And I just love the second one so much. Like I honestly am bummed that it didn't win any game awards this year. Like it should have won so many awards because it was a killer game. Like it was so stinking good. Honestly, like I kind of want to go back and
did you run through
it
both? I mean, did you do the Jill Valentine?
Yeah, so one? I did both playthroughs. So we did Leon, then Jill, or it's not Jill.
It's not Jill. I'm sorry. Jill's from Nemesis.
Is Nemesis. Why can't I think of who it is?
The chick. You can just say that. It's not racist. Just say the chick. Or misogynistic.
So
maybe it is.
I did the Leon playthrough first, and then I played through Claire Redfield. And then I was going to play Claire first and then go through Leon second. And I got like halfway through the Claire playthrough first and then I dropped off. But I still would love to go back and finish it off. Cause it's such a fun game. The atmosphere, the sound, everything in that game is so good.
Which means 3 is going to be amazing because it's all pretty much cut from the same cloth.
Yeah. What about, do you have another one you're excited for?
Are you kidding? There's a game coming out this year, people. This year that has Keanu Reeves in it. We are talking Cyberpunk 2077.
So that was my original one that I was going to say I was most anticipated for, but honestly, I think Resident Evil 3 beats it out a little bit.
Yeah.
But Cyberpunk, I'm so stoked for that game. Like, I don't know, like the Witcher games never quite hooked me. They're fun. Like I just recently got into Witcher 3, and I'm like, I could see why this is a lot of fun. I just don't have time right now. But next, like April, when it's a new game and I can kind of catch the wave right off the bat, I'm really hoping I can get into this huge world, huge cyberpunk, sci-fi world, and I cannot wait. Yeah,
it's going to be
Keanu
epic.
Reeves in it. Like, it's going to be a fun one. I hope that doesn't get delayed, dude. If that gets delayed, it depends on how far it gets delayed. Honestly, the spring is so stinking packed right now. Now that I think about it, I kind of would not be that bummed if
it got pushed off a little bit.
I mean, I would rather other stuff get pushed off, but if something had to get pushed, because right now, so let me just read through some of these top games that are coming out this next year. So there's a bunch in January that are all right, nothing too crazy. February has some cool stuff. Yakuza 5, Darksiders Genesis. But then you get into March, and there's Final Fantasy VII Remake, which is going to be awesome. Neo 2 is coming out. Animal Crossing New Horizons on Switch. So I've never played an Animal Crossing's game, and everything I've heard about it, I'm like, it sounds like a fun game. Like it's a game, I guess you don't really beat. That's something else that someone told me. Like you don't really beat the game. It's just like goes on and on and on forever kind of thing. But it sounds like fun. Like I definitely want to try it, especially it's on Switch. Like why not?
Yeah.
Doom Eternal and Persona 5 Royal. April has Resident Evil 3, Cyberpunk 2077, Predator Hunting Grounds.
Oh, that looks fantastic.
May has Marvel Avengers, Wasteland 3, Last of Us Part 2.
So Avengers is the game that came out, but we haven't really seen a whole lot, right? It was vaunted for a long time, and then they kind of they teased it. No, but it's coming out. Marvel's May. Avengers, but we haven't seen trailers of it, have we?
They've showed a couple trailers at some E3 and stuff and different
but gameplay.
Things. Yeah, I
don't remember gameplay.
I think they've showed gameplay. I haven't heard great things about it. Like everything I've heard, people are like, no, like it's just not hitting where it needs to be hitting when it's a AAA Marvel game. Like it should be. Yeah, I have not heard anything great about it, so I'm kind of worried about it. That's why it's definitely not on my list for what I'm excited for next year. It'll be one of those games that probably I'll wait a couple months until to see what reviews are, and then until it goes on sale. Like unless it ends up being an amazing game, like if it comes out and everyone's like, "Oh, we were wrong, it's 10 out of 10." I might try to get it, but otherwise, it's definitely a back burner game, backlog.
I've got an interesting observation based on when the games are coming out and some of these big. So right before summer, we're going to be getting hit in the springtime with some pretty big games.
Yeah,
and we have Cyberpunk 2077 coming out and everything else. It's not going to be too much longer before the PS5 comes out. Right. Are they kind of shooting themselves in the foot by coming out with some of these games on the 4, or is it like, well, we're gonna catch some of this and some of that? People that are gonna buy it on the PS4 and people are gonna buy it on the PS5.
Yeah, so I don't think so. Only because I'm pretty sure PS5 is supposed to be backwards compatible with PS4. At least that's some of the rumors I've heard. I think it's been confirmed even, but. There's a big push for that backwards compatibility. So even if you buy it on PS4, you'll be able to play on PS5.
That's what I'm looking forward to Christmas time next year. PS5, and then and of course podcast will pay for it. And then
we don't have that kind of Patreon support.
Boys could dream. Hey, if you could support us on Patreon, Grammy, you could help us. What?
You can't do that.
Well, she does it for you.
Let me finish what I was saying. Let me finish you asked a question and I'm answering you, okay?
Yeah, sorry.
Okay?
All right. You're going to be so hot.
The PS4, backwards compatible. Also, second thing, PS4 has, they just hit over 100 million units sold. Is that right? Their PS4 units sold. Yeah, I think they just hit in October 103 million units sold.
Well, you're welcome, PS4, because I just bought one of those for my daughter.
Yeah. So you think about it, 100. So when a new console comes out, not everyone gets a new console because it's expensive and there's not a lot of games on it. The only people who really usually get the new consoles when they come out is serious gamers who just really care, like fanboys, really, people who give a crap about not having games but just having the new cool thing kind of thing, the new technology that's you can't really use because there's nothing out for it yet. So for them to keep putting up PS4 games, they're just setting themselves up for success to make buckets and buckets of money, because you can still play those games on PS5, and then also there's at this point at least 103 million people who are still going to be buying those games. Even if 10 million right off the bat go out and buy PS5s, that still leaves 93 million people who are buying stuff on PS4. So, and they've already talked about that they plan on, even after the PS5 comes out, they're going to keep supporting the PS4 because it has such a huge install base. It's like the number, I forget where was it in Wikipedia here. It is the second best-selling console ever. PlayStation 2 is number 1. PlayStation 4 is number 2. And for this generation, it's number 1. It beats Nintendo 3DS. It beats Xbox One. It beats Nintendo Switch by a ton. So they'd be stupid to not keep making stuff for it. It's just money sitting there otherwise.
Well, here's what's going to happen. I'm going to go ahead and get that PS5, and then I'm going to move my PS4 to the kids' room, so then everybody will have PlayStation, because we're a Sony pony household, people.
Heck yeah.
Yeah. We also, by the way, ended up going full bore Switch for the boy, because
you're a liar too. You said you were gonna get him a Switch Lite, and then you got him the whole whole kit and caboodle over there.
I did, and you know what? I won a lot of points, dude. He straight told me, "Dad, you're the best dad ever." I was like, looked him straight in his eye and said, "I know." It was awesome, dude. Yeah, he thought he was getting the Switch Lite, and he opened up the box, and I said, "Hey, what color did you say you wanted again?" And he's like, "Yellow." And then he opened up and realized that it was and he just, "Oh my gosh, I got a regular! I thought we couldn't afford it." I'm like, "We can't." But it was great. I felt like a big hero. My daughter got a PlayStation 4. My older daughter got the PS4. My son got the Switch. And then I got to play very little video games through the last several days.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So we kind of talked about a few of the games. There's a couple other games that I want to talk about that I'm kind of excited for that don't have release dates. But we have an idea that they are most likely coming out next year. Like Ghost of Tsushima. That was another PlayStation exclusive that's coming out. I think they said next summer sometime. We don't have any date for sure, but that one looks sweet. So I haven't played a Halo game in forever, just because I haven't had an Xbox in forever. But Halo Infinite's coming out for Xbox, Xbox One, PC, all that. I imagine it'll be on Game Pass, since all their first-party games are going to be on Game Pass. So I'm kind of hoping it's on PC Game Pass so that I can play it, because I don't know. This has been so long. I'm like, I want to jump back into this. Like, plus that trailer looks beautiful. All the Xbox Series X trailers that they've been showing have just looked so amazing. Like between Hellblade and then Halo Infinite. So yeah, sign me up. Like I want to give that a shot.
Another game that's coming out this year, is purported to come out this year, Dying Light Part 2. Yeah. I don't know if you ever played Part 1, but
never played it, no.
It's a really fun game, and there's no telling how great this game can be. If it's anything like Dying Light, the original, it's really great. And it also had a great online presence, great stuff online. I was playing with my family quite a bit. My nephews are really into Dying Light stuff.
It's like a zombie one, right?
It's a zombie one, yeah. There's so much great zombie stuff coming out this year. Yeah. There's always great zombie stuff. Last of Us 2. Of course, you've got the Resident Evil 3 and then Dying Light. So it's like, win-win-win.
And then the last one, Watch Dog Legion. I've never played any of the other Watch Dogs games. But after watching the trailer and just how like any character in the world can become a playable character essentially,
yes,
can join your team. I like, okay, all right, man, that seems cool to me. Yeah. Like they all have different skills and
abilities.
As
I recall, each one has different skills, and you're able to go around and choose different people.
Some are better at guns, some are better brawlers, like
drones experts and stuff like that. Like different people that you interact with, and you can overtake their lives, and then like they have different skills and stuff. As I recall from the thing, I remember that looked pretty darn neat.
Yeah, so that just that concept just sounds cool. So it'll be interesting to see how they execute it, but at this point it doesn't have a release date. But it's anticipated to come out next year.
A lot of possibilities with something like that it seems open, 100%. So 2020 is going to be amazing for video games and nerd media and all kinds of awesome stuff. You know what 2020 is going to be cool for? Super Gamer Boys. We've got some huge things under the pike. We are expanding. Every single week, the show is now going to be 17 hours long, and we're going to have sleepovers right here where we play video games, right?
I mean, I'm down if you actually show up.
I can never show up.
That's the thing. Like, I'm 100% down for all of this.
But I'm not kidding about 2020 is going to be an awesome year for Super Gamer Boys.
Yeah, Super Gamer Boys 2.0, man.
Is year 2.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm going to change our logo and everything. SGB 2.0.
Will my face be like bigger than your face on there?
Your face will be like the 2 point JJ.
I like that. I don't know why. I just like that a whole lot. Yeah. But you know what? If you want to help us to be able to do bigger and better things in 2020, could you possibly help us by supporting us on Patreon? You could always do that by going to patreon.com/supergamerboys.
Just like our sponsors, Bill Bird and Julie Bates. You can get shout outs on the show. You can get show notes early. You can, comment and kind of even chime in on some of the show notes. Matt only did it a couple times, but our previous producer that we had. But if you ever want to, leave your own thoughts that we can read on the air or like little starter questions, support us at that producer level. It's $15 a month. And then, like I said, show notes early, and you get to pitch your own segment or even be a part of our new segment, whatever you want to do. Like you kind of have free reign.
Yeah, you help basically dictate and write the show. You can make it whatever you want to be by helping and assisting.
Yeah, you can help us as much or as little as you want.
Right. We would like even more money than that. So if you want to give more than that, that's fine.
There's still the Patreon tier for JJ to play D&D for like $50 or $60.
I thought
no one's taking us up on that.
We discontinued that thing there.
No, it's still very real. If you want to play D&D with JJ, $60, and you don't have to do it monthly, just 1 month, and you can play with JJ.
Yeah, I'm down. I'll come. I'll play your stuff. I'll do your characters. I'll do whatever. I don't care. You need me to come in character? You need me to dress up? I'm fine.
I also I got a reminder on my Google Calendar the other day that apparently there was a bet, I think it was like December 12th or 13th, that by that date you were going to play D&D. I was going to get you to play D&D.
Oh man, I
lost it. I lost the bet. So
see how I avoided?
I don't know what the stakes were. Like I didn't write that down on the calendar. I just wrote that there was a bet. But so if any of you guys remember what I bet, I'm really worried I might have bet my firstborn child.
I do recall that.
But
I guess Shep's mine now.
At this point,
God, he's a good-looking little boy.
At this point, we have to hear back from the judges. So there's no official decision at this point. We have to wait back and hear from the official judges on the ruling for that. So,
oh man, I would make sure that he would be so funny. Oh my gosh,
he's already hilarious. He's great.
I know. I've seen some of the pictures and stuff. He does look funny. Where can they find you?
He doesn't look funny.
No, I don't mean
that back.
I don't mean like that. No, he's beautiful boy. Okay. No, but he looks like a humorous child. The humorous. Where can they find you on the social medias?
So my supergamerboys.com. There's Twitter and Instagram is @supergamerboys. Facebook.com/supergamerboys. I'm on Twitter @GMorlang. JJ's on Twitter
@JJPurdom.
Thank you so much to Star Andrews for our logo. You can check her out on Instagram @GroundFloorGraphics and Facebook.com/GroundFloorGraphics.
She's got post on there with her socks on the Instapot.
No, she doesn't.
Well, she needs to. Star, why don't we go ahead and get on that?
Thank you guys so much for listening to another week of Super Gamer Boys. Thanks for bearing with us, even though last week we were both dying. And hopefully you enjoy this one, and you will enjoy what we have for the year to come, because our goal is still to take over the world, one ear hole at a time.
We're doing it. We're infecting ears all over the place.
SGB 2.0.
Yep. It's going to have my face bigger on the logo. So once again, thank you guys so much for joining us here at Super Gamer Boys. Like every week and like next week, we are still the same people we always are. I'm JJ. He's Garrett. We are the Super Gamer Boys.
We'll catch y'all on the flippity flop.
Well, next year.
Next year. Well, technically this comes out.
Flippity next year.
This one comes out on January 1st.
So